Good morning, students. This is Anjali, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, AIML. Today, we will going to start the quantitative and qualitative data. First, before moving forward, we will we will recall the previous session. In last session, we have seen data, information, data processing cycle, introduction of data science, why data science is important for us, then structured data and unstructured data. In data, just it will contain some all facts, figures, measurements. That means every type of data it will contain, every type of things it will contain, that is the data. And it will, if we have find out some particular things, that is the information. Then data processing cycle consisting three phase. It is input, then processing and output. In input, we have to give the instruction. Then after that instruction should be accepted by the system. After accepting, there will be some processes, and after processing, it will convert into the output. That means you will get the particular result for particular input. Then we have seen that the introduction of data science. Actually, data science is the combination of, we can say the combination of mathematics, then computer science, and we can say business intelligence. It is the combination of statistical mathematics, computer science and business intelligence. That means data science is containing various methods like statistical methods, probabilities. All things are included into the data science. Why we need the data science? Because every time and day by day, data is increasing, and for that, for maintaining whole data, we need some algorithms, we need some methods. So we need here data science. Then structured data. Whenever you are collecting the data from various sources, it is not necessary that it will be in structured format, it will be in complete. So when you collect data from the sources, it will be organized form. That data will be organized form. So that is the structured data. And when we have collected that data from sources, it is not always in organized format. It should be unorganized format. It should be unstructured. Sometimes it should contain some noisy data. So when we are talking about the structured data, then that data will be in the organized format, and then it should follow some rules, and it will contain some functions which will follow the structure. After that, we have seen that unstructured data. In unstructured data, it will not follow any rule, it will not follow any structure, just that data will be in the unstructured format. Now we will move towards our topic, which is containing quantitative data, types of quantitative data, qualitative data collection methods, and steps of the data analysis. First, in last session, we have seen already types of data. There are 4 types of data: structured data, unstructured data, qualitative data, and quantitative data. In structured data, your data should be in the structured format, and in unstructured data, your data is not in structured format, it is in the unorganized format. But now we will see quantitative data. What is quantitative data? It is the value of data which is in the form of counts or numbers, where each data set has some unique numerical value. You can recognize from the name of the topic quantitative data. That means it's showing the quantity. And when we are talking about the quantity, it will show some numbers. It will show some counts. So here our definition is, it is the value of data which is in the form of counts or numbers, and that data should be in the set of unique numerical value, and these data may be quantifiable information, or sometimes researchers can use for mathematical calculations and statistical analysis also. Why we are using mathematical calculations and statistical analysis? For making real life decisions based on the mathematical derivations. And if we are talking about the quantitative data, then here some questions can arise, like how many, how often, and how much. That means these questions always answered in the form of numbers, in the form of counts. And this data should be verified, and sometimes it can be evaluated using some mathematical techniques. For example, there are some quantities corresponding some various parameters. How much did the laptop cost? It is showing the quantitative data. If you are asking how much did that laptop cost, means it will show the number. It is suggesting some number. So this is our quantitative data. Values generally associated with some measuring parameters which are controllable using some mathematical derivations. And this data generally collected for the statistical analysis, and we will collect the data by using some surveys, some polls, or some questionnaires, which are specially dependent on our specific section of the population. Now there are the types of quantitative data. You can see that counter, second measurement of physical objects, then sensory calculation, projection of data, and quantification of qualitative entities. These are the types of quantitative data. Now first counter. Count equated with entities. That means in the counter we will count the entities. How many counter are there? How many entities are available there? That means we will find out the number of people downloading particular application. That means this topic is suggesting about only numbers. How many numbers are available? This is the counter. Then second one is measurement of physical objects. That means it will calculate some measurement related to physical thing. Obviously, when we will measure something, then it will show numbers. We can say 1 centimeter, 10 centimeter. That means it is showing the numbers. Measurement always available in the numbers. So, for example, HR executive generally measures the size of cubicle assigned to newly joined employees. That means it will show the measurement of any physical object. Then sensory calculation. Mechanism to naturally sense the measured parameters to create a constant source of information. That means it will create some information, constant information, by using the sense, by using some measured parameters. For example, a digital camera converts always a data in the electromagnetic information to a string numerical data. That means we are giving the information, we are giving the instruction in the form of alphabets or in the form of numbers or data, but it is converting into the numerical data. Now, projection of data. Projection of data is also depend on totally algorithms and some mathematical analysis tools. That means if you want to project the future data, then you should use the algorithms and some mathematical analysis tool. For example, marketer will predict some increase in sales after launching product with a thorough analysis. That means the marketer can predict the data. Marketer can predict the sales after the launching some products. Then quantification of qualitative entities. Identify numbers to qualitative information. For qualitative information, for particular information, it will identify the some numbers. For example, asking respondents of an online survey to share likelihood of recommendation of the scale of 0 to 10. That means here we will ask about the data, we will ask about about the share, and that we will give the range like a 0 to 10, and always we will give the range in the form of the numbers. That means when we talk about the quantitative data, everything is representing in the form of numbers, everything is representing in the form of counts. Therefore there are some types of which we have explained already, and they are a counter, measurement of physical objects, then sensory calculation, then projection of data, and quantification of qualitative entities, and everything is representing in the form of counts and the numbers. There are some examples of quantitative data. First is, my best friend is 5 feet and 7 inches tall. They have size 6 feet. Then they weigh 63 kilograms. My best friend has one older sibling and two younger siblings. They have two cats. Then my best friend lives 20 miles away from me, and they go swimming 4 times a week. That means you can observe here, if there is a everything number, and it is showing the some quantities. Every example is showing some quantity. That's why we are saying this is the quantitative data. This is quantitative data. It's not showing about the quality. It's showing only quantity. How much? How many? That means it, even this is showing in the form of only number: 5 feet, 7 inches, 6 feet, 63 kilograms, 1, 2. That means all these are representing the some quantity. Now we will move towards the qualitative data. Qualitative data is information which cannot be counted, measured, or even expressed using the number. In quantitative data, we have shown that every data we can represent using the numbers, using the numerical value. But in qualitative data, we cannot count, we cannot measure, even we cannot use the numbers also. And this data we can collect from text, image, audio. Even you can share the some tools like word clouds, some concept maps, some graph databases, and even timelines and infographics. That means you can see here you can collect data from the various sources. You can collect the data from data in the form of various sources like the text, audio, images, and it can show the only quality of data. And qualitative data mainly describe the qualities, or you can say the characteristic of your data. And it is collected using the some questionnaires, interviews. Even you can observe and you can collect the data. For example, it could be notes taken during a focus group on the quality of the food at Cafe Mac, or responses from open-ended questionnaire. That means here you are collecting the data, and you are finding some quality of data. You are finding some important characteristics of data. This is the qualitative data. It will not show in the form of numbers or in the form of numerical value. It will show in the form of only quality. It will describe any physical object. It will describe a particular quality of the data. Now, qualitative data generally defined as some approximate and some characteristics. Sometimes we can observe and record it. Our data, qualitative data should be sometimes may be observed or recorded, and this type of only we can say that non-numerical. It will be non-numerical, and it is qualitative data mostly available in the statistic format, and with it will be it will be known as the categorical data. And always that categorical data, sometimes it can contain the some attributes and some properties. It allows the some statistician or the researchers to form parameters which a larger data set can be observed. That data should be in the qualitative data, and this means it can provide the observers by using the quantifying the data, by using the quantifying information. Qualitative data has some collection methods. It qualitative data collection is mostly exploratory. Obviously, when you are collecting the data, first, always when we collected data from different sources, it is not always in the structured format or unstructured format or some qualitative data. We have to find out the particular information, then we can convert it into the qualitative data. So we can say that the way the qualitative data should be qualitative data is in the exploratory format. Mostly it involves in-depth analysis and research. And these methods mainly focused on some gaining insights, some reasoning and motivations. And hence they can go deeper in terms of the research. And this qualitative data is most important for the research purpose also. And qualitative data cannot measure, even researchers cannot prefer some methods or data collection tools which are structured to a limited extent. Now, there are some collection methods like one-to-one interviews, focus groups, record keeping, observation, longitudinal studies, and case studies. So, we will see one by one. First one-to-one interviews. Till now, we have seen quantitative data and qualitative data. Quantitative data contain only numbers, or we can say it contain only numeric values. And qualitative data, it will show some characteristic of physical objects, or we can say the characteristics of some characteristics of some data. It will show the quality of your data. And now we will see the methods of data collection. First, one-to-one interview. Then it is the most commonly used data collection instrument for qualitative research, mainly because of its personal approach. When we interact face to face, then we can collect the more important information. So this is the one-to-one interviews means we are interacting personally. So we can collect the very qualitative information, which is very important for our research. Then interviewer or researcher can collect the data directly from interview by asking the some question or by using the some techniques. Then maybe this interview should maybe go in the form of informal, or we can say unstructured. This data should be in the a conversational format also. So open-ended question should be there. Open-ended question should ask, and that interviewer can give the answer. So on the basis of that answer, we can collect the data, and that data will be in the quality format. Then second is the focus group. This is done in the group discussion technique. Nowadays we know that the group discussion technique is more important. On the basis of group, we can collect the so many things at a time. And these groups group is limited of 6 to 10 people. That then moderator is assigned. So moderate the ongoing discussion, and on the basis of this discussion, we can collect the data from every person. That means 6 to 10 people. If there are 6 to 10 people, then definitely every person has a different view. So we can collect the different things from the different people. So that data is totally depending on the data which is sorted, or the members of group may have something in a common. That means when you collect the data from different sources, you will find out which data is common and which is a unique data. So on that basis, you will collect the data uh, like a qualitative, and this data will be very important for your research. For example, researchers conducting some study on the track runners will choose athletes who are track runners or were track runners and have sufficient knowledge of the subject matter. That means researchers can conduct the study for the runners, which will they choose the athletes or they were track runners. That means they will conduct the study. So on that basis, they can collect the quality of data. Then third one is a record keepings. Record keeping. This method makes use of already existing reliable documents and mostly similar sources of information, and that data can be used in the new research, and it is similar to going to a library. That means you can represent that in library there are so many things. There are already data. There are so many books. So you can recognize which book is very important for your subject or your topic. So on that basis, you will recognize and you will take that book which is very important. You will not take all books from the library. So library will keep some records, and there are one can go over books and other reference material for collecting the relevant data which is very important for your research purpose or for your data purpose. Now fourth one is process of observation. In the qualitative data collection method, researcher immerses some settings. That means where some respondents are available and some participants are also available. So they can directly give the reply on that basis. And this is known as process of observation. And beside taking the notes, other documentation methods such as video, audio recording, photography, similar methods can be used. In the process of observation, we can just by observing something, we can collect the data, and we can collect the more important data. So that data should be used for our research purpose, and this observation is known as the process of observation. Then longitudinal studies. In this method, we will perform some task. We will perform some task which is very important for the data and which will repeatedly over extend the period. And observational research method goes on for few years, and in some cases can go on for even decades. That means in longitudinal data, we will collect the data for the correlating purpose. That means we will correlate the data with another data, and we will do the study empirical format, which is very common. Now, case studies. In case studies, we will gather the data in the depth format, and on that basis we will study on it, and we will find out which data is very important for us and which data is uh, giving the deep knowledge. So there should be in the data, in the case studies, there should be the versatility of the data. It is demonstrated in how this method can be used for analyzing the some simple and some complex subjects. That means we will demonstrate that method, and this strength of this method is how judicially it uses a combination of one or more qualitative data collection methods to draw in inferences. That means you have to judge, you have to find out which combinations are very important for the qualitative data. In case studies, you will compare some data, you will you will compare data, you will find out some differences between the data, and on that basis you will find out some quality of data. Now there are some methods of quantitative data analysis. First step is arrange your data. Generally, when we are talking about the steps of qualitative data analysis, so we collect the data by using some survey, some interviews, even by observation. Whatever you are doing, so first you have to arrange your data. That means first step will be arrange your data. First, but before arranging your data, you have to collect the data. After collecting, you have to arrange your data. That means once you collect the data, that data should be unstructured format or it will be in the structured format. If it is in unstructured format, then you have to convert that data into the structured format. So that data will be very essential and it will describe the particular things. First step is mainly analyzing your data, and you have to arrange that data systematically. There should be some system. You should arrange that data systematically. You should arrange that data a proper way. And what is meant by arranging? You are converting data into the text format. When you are collecting the data, it is not in structured format. It is not in organized format. So when you collect, after collected data, you have to arrange first your data. Then you can keep that data in proper way. You can keep that data systematically, and after that you can export or import your data in the form of a spreadsheet, or you can say that data should be in the qualitative data. You can convert that data into the qualitative data by using some analysis tools. That means for arranging your data, you have to use some tools, and you have to keep that data in the structured format. Then second one is organize all your data. After transferring and arranging your data, your next step should be organizing. What we are organizing? We are organizing our information. We are organizing our data. We are converting our data from the large amount of information to the small amount. That means we are removing some amount which is containing noisy data, which is containing some error. That means some noisy data we are removing, some unwanted data we are removing, and on that basis we will organize our data. And one of the best way of organizing is going back to your research objective and then organize the data based on the question asked. If you want to organize your data, then definitely you have to study your objective, research objective, and then you can organize the data. And mainly these data we can arrange in the form of table, or we can, if we arrange the data in the form of table, then our concept will be clear, and we can get to know about what we will need and what we have done. And at the last, we can avoid some temptation of working with unorganized data. That means when we are keeping the data in the table format, then automatically we are removing the unorganized data, we are removing the unwanted data from our table, we are removing some noisy data from our table. That means if we keep the noisy data and some unorganized data in our table, then automatically it will waste our time and we can't reach our conclusion. So we have to organize the data in proper manner. Then second one is set a code to the data collected. You have to set here proper code. If you will not set the data in proper code, then definitely you will not get the particular result. You cannot reach it till conclusion. Coding is the one of the best way for compressing your tremendous amount of information collected. And this coding of qualitative data simply means we can say that it is the categorizing data, it is assigning properties of data, and we can say it is showing that some pattern of the data. And this step is set a code to the data collected. This step is very important for qualitative data analysis. And after this step, we can find out some relevant research findings. And after assigning code to your data, you should begin you can begin to build some patterns, and on that pattern you can gain some in-depth knowledge, you can gain some decision, even you can take some decisions on that basis. So here setting a code is very important for our data. The next step is validate your data. Validating data is one of the crucial steps of qualitative data analysis for successful research. That means you have to check whether your data is a validate or not. It is valid or not. If it's not a valid, then you have to avoid it. Whatever you are collected, it is not useful for us. So after collecting the data, you have to check whatever you have collected, it is validate or not. That means data is a quintessential for research. It is imperative to ensure that the data is not flawed. You have to check that data is giving particular result or not. And for checking the validating data, first you have to check the accuracy for your methods, and second one you have to check the reliability, which is producing the accurate data consistently, which is which is producing the accurate result. That means validate your data. This step is very important for our data step. And because when you will check the data is valid or not, on that basis you can recognize your conclusion, you can recognize your result. So this step is very important and you can find out the qualitative data. Then last one is concluding the analysis process. It is important to conclude your data. Obviously, after organizing, and after arranging, you should reach to your results. So you have to conclude on your data. You have to reach your result. You have to find out some result. Means systematically presenting your data report that can be readily used, and that method can give the result. And sometimes that result should be some positive. Sometimes it should be positive or should be negative. So it is totally depend on our study. It is totally depend on our data. If it is the valid data, then definitely we will get the positive result, we will get the positive conclusion. And you should also state some suggestion of your findings and any related areas of your future research. That means concluding the analysis process is suggesting that you will reach till the result and some conclusion. You will find out some conclusion on the basis of your research, on the basis of your data. So this step is also very important for the qualitative data. In there are some fast steps which we have seen. First step was arrange your data, where we arrange our data in the proper format. Then second one, it's organize all your data, where we transform and arrange our data in the organizing format, in the proper format. Then third one, we have set the data, we have set the code for our data. So it will show the some patterns, and it will show the some, it will convert into the some proper result. Then we have checked for validity of the data. That means that data is valid or not, we have to find out, and on that basis we will get the result. And for that data we have to check for accuracy and then reliability. And last one, concluding the analysis process, and this process will give the some results and will give the some conclusion on the basis of our data. Then there are some examples of qualitative data. First one is, my best friend has curly brown hair. Then they have a green eyes. Best friend is funny, loud, and good listener. They can also be quite impatient and impulsive at the time. My best friend drives a red car. They have a very friendly face and contagious laugh. That means here we are showing the quality of data. For example, in first example we have seen curly brown. That means it is showing the characteristic of hairs. Then green eyes. It's showing about the eyes. Then it's showing about the best friend, funny, loud, good listener. That means it is showing the characteristics, impatient, impulsive. These are also characteristics which is showing about the person. Then again, a red car. That means it is showing the characteristic of the car. They have a very friendly face. That means it is showing about the face, and it is showing about the laugh. That means friendly and contagious. It is showing the quality. That means in the qualitative data, that data will be show about only characteristics and about only quality of the information, quality of the data. We can see there is a best example of coffee shop data. There are some we were processing observation of coffee shop in major city using the following 5 descriptors. There are some characteristics. We can say name of coffee shop, revenue, zip code, average monthly customers, and country of the coffee origin. Name of the coffee shop. Always it will contain the alphabets. It will contain some data. So it will always in the form of qualitative data. Now revenue always available in the form of numbers, in the form of numerical value. So that is the quantitative data. Next, average monthly customer. Obviously we will find out the average, and average always available in the form of numbers. That's why it is also quantitative data. Then country of coffee origin. It will show some observation. It is showing some observation. It is showing quality. So it is the qualitative data. Now we will reach zip code. Zip code contain the numbers, but still it is the qualitative data, because that zip code will not change anything. Zip code never change. That's why that data is constant. that data is a consistent, so that data is always in the qualitative format. It is showing the quality of the city, quality of the area. That's why we cannot change it. So that data will be always qualitative data. It will not contain, it will not contain any quantity. It's not showing about any quantity. It is not showing about any counts. That's why we are saying that that data is the qualitative data. It is showing only the quality. Now we can see the comparison of quantitative and qualitative data. In quantitative data collection method, it is fixed and more structured technique, and qualitative, it is semi-structured or unstructured format. Then in quantitative instrument, it is based on the only instrument, and qualitative, it is not based on the instrument. It is not instrument. Then the quantitative data, it will contain the number, and it is depend on the only collection of collection of information. In quantitative, it is measurable, it is not a measurable part. Used for statistical quantitative method is used for statistical test, and qualitative data is not used for statistical test. It is used only for collection of method. It is only used for showing the characteristic of the data. Then quantitative, it is generally in the large sample size, and qualitative, it is in the small sample size. For example, employs strong scientific control, and qualitative lacks scientific control. Data types generally available use rational or interval data, and qualitative, it is ordinal or nominal data. And interviews form include closed-ended questions. That means they can collect the data on the basis of closed-ended questions, and qualitative data, it can collect the data on the basis of open-ended question. This is all about the quantitative and qualitative data, and these are the some references which we have collected the data. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.